starving, and freshwater there is scarce. Yet they have 50 million cattle, one of the largest herds in the world, as well as 35 million chickens, and 15 million sheep and goats, needlessly consuming their food, land, and water. And 82% of the world's starving children live in countries where food is fed to animals. Killed and eaten by wealthier individuals in developed countries like the US, UK, and in Europe. 1/4 of all grain produced by third world countries is now given to livestock in their own countries and elsewhere. A lot of us don't know what the root leading cause of world hunger actually is. There's way more to the story of world hunger than a lot of us know. I've seen the photos, many of starving children and others of all ages throughout the world. However, when I traveled to South Africa to visit family some years back, these photos quickly became real life. I discovered that family wasn't the only thing that I was visiting. As far as my own learning experience, I've spent years discovering new reasons to cut out meat. Furthermore, I've completely eliminated meat since 2013. First, I'll talk about the problem of world hunger. Second, I'll examine the cause, animal agriculture. Then finally, I'll discuss the solution. There's way more to the story of world hunger than a lot of us know. I'll talk about the problem of hunger. There are way too many starving. According to the World Animal Foundation, there are hungry people that outnumber the current population of the European Union, the US, and Canada combined, with their estimate of 925 million people. The world has so many hungry to fill up 2 continents, with over 2.5 million children under the age of 5 losing their lives to starvation every year. Starvation is not only a big problem in Africa, because in our country, along with Europe, there's 14.7 million people starving. And in Asia, there's 511.7 million people starving. I'm looking back at the number starving and moving forward to the cause. We have enough food. We could be feeding the world, but we're instead feeding animals. Even with increased climate change and ominous weather extremes, we produce enough grain globally to feed 2 times as many people as are on Earth. David Pimentel, professor of ecology in Cornell University's College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, says, if all the grain currently fed to livestock in the US were consumed directly by people, the people who could be fed would be nearly 800 million, just in the US. According to the University of Edinburgh, livestock production is the least efficient process, with losses of 8% or 840 million tons. And 1.08 billion tons of harvested crops are used to produce just 240 million tons of edible animal products. This stage alone accounts for 40% of all losses of harvested crops. Add the fact that it takes a lot more plant food to produce animal-based foods. That causes a compromise of the food supply chain, ultimately leading humans to starvation. As the leading cause of world hunger becomes clearer, I'm looking at a solution. The whole entirety of hunger can end. The choice is in our hands. We can dramatically increase food availability and environmental sustainability by using more of our crops to feed people rather than to fend livestock. If we want to ensure that every individual can be fed, we must contemplate deeply and pick the most healthy, sustainable, and compassionate solution. For one way to go, instead of eating meat, there's non-animal meat, which can taste good according to one undoubtedly successful individual. Bill Gates, he says, like most people, I don't think I can easily be fooled. But that's just what happened when I was asked to taste a chicken taco and tell whether the meat inside was real or fake. The meat certainly had the look and the smell of chicken. I took a bite and it had the taste and the texture of real chicken too. But I was surprised to learn that there wasn't an ounce of chicken in it. The meat was made entirely of plants, and yet I couldn't taste the difference. Even New York Times writer Mark Bittman could not tell the difference between Beyond Meat, the non-animal meat, and real chicken either. First, I described the problem. Then I examined the cause. Then I discussed the solution. There is way more to the story of world hunger than a lot of us know. World hunger is clearly an issue, and animal agriculture has been proven unsustainable and is the root of the giant issue. Philip Wolin, former vice president of Citibank and philanthropist, says, "As I travel around the world, I see poor countries who sell their grain to the West, while their own children starve in their arms, and the West feeds it to livestock so we can eat a steak. Am I the only one who sees this as a crime? Believe me, every morsel of meat we eat is slapping the tear-stained face of a hungry child. When I look into her eyes, do I remain silent?" Today, 1 billion people are hungry. Cutting meat by only 10% will feed another 100 million people, and eliminating meat will end starvation forever. If everyone ate a Western diet, we would need 2 planet Earths to feed us. We've only got 1, and she's dying. The Earth can produce enough for everyone's greed, but not enough for everyone's greed. If everyone is going to have food, there definitely needs to be a change. Thank you.